question. When you testified before Congress last month, you said that the government safety net, and I think you're referring to things like TARP, they provide these large financial institutions with a motivation to take greater risks than they otherwise would. And this was a criticism we heard before and during the implementation of TARP. Does that mean that the success of this program, which is going to repay all but $20 or $25 billion, could also mean a continued failure of our system?
Absolutely. One of the things that we've been saying, and you look again, what we talked about earlier about the projected financial cost, you really can't do a final accounting until you look at the bigger picture of TARP. And part of that big picture, when the government came out in late 2008 and early 2009 and said, we're not going to let our largest banks fail, sure, it absolutely helped save the financial system. But it also gave these banks this incentive to take greater risks. It removed market discipline, and we're in a very, very dangerous place right now. These banks are still too big to fail. There's still this implication that the government is going to bail them out. And let's be very clear, when we say too big to fail, it means that. It means that if these banks, hit the rocks again, if we have another financial crisis, which we inevitably will, it's not a question of are we going to be weak or strong-willed about letting them fail. We're going to have to bail them out again in order to preserve the financial system. And without taking the right remedial approach to try to deal with this problem, which so far has just not happened, at least from the perception of the markets, we're looking at a much more dangerous system ultimately, and probably a much far more devastating financial crisis. That's the risk, that's the stakes.